Hi, I'm Kareem Maddox, and this is The American Athlete. I'm a producer for Gimlet Media / Spotify, and I also play professional 3x3 basketball. So my introduction into sports was like any other kid. I just grew up running around playing like street ball, bully ball, tackle ball, any kind of ball, we played it. And from there, I got into organized sports, mostly basketball, but I played everything. I did track and field, played water polo, I played soccer. So, any kind of sport that I could play, I played, and ultimately gravitated towards basketball. As I got taller, it just made a lot of sense. I had an aptitude for it, so went in that direction ultimately. I think the first moment I realized I was really good at basketball was I was playing at Princeton University, and I did a hook shot over, like a 7-footer. And it went in, it felt easy, and I just thought, I'm pretty good at this. So that was pretty late, that was in my 20s. Before that, I think that the encouragement of coaches, parents, family, and friends really kept my eyes on the prize. I didn't always have as much self-confidence as I do now, so if you don't have a lot of self-confidence, especially when you're young, and you don't have people encouraging you, then it becomes really hard because you need inspiration every day, right? You don't just read a quote once and that sets you for the rest of your life. You need a quote every week. You need someone telling you you could be great, you could be good in order to kind of sustain. And luckily I did have the help to get there until I could find it within myself. When I showed up at Princeton as a freshman, we went on to have the worst season in school history. We were 6-23, and the next 4 years weren't looking great. So, we made a decision then, we're not gonna have 4 years of this. This is crazy. So once we made that decision, we started putting in the work until we got to my senior year when we had gotten a lot better, but there's also a lot of pressure because this was our last hurrah. If we weren't gonna go to the NCAA tournament that year, then it was over for us. So each game felt like the most important game of our lives, because we had to get there. We didn't have a conference tournament, and you have to win out in the regular season in order to make the NCAA tournament. That's when we started to find it within ourselves and realize that it's us or no one. That okay, you are ready to do this. You are as good as other people have been telling you. And so now it's just time to perform, get to the NCAA tournament. So I think what people don't understand about playing overseas is that you literally get plopped into a foreign country. In my case, it was Eastern Europe. They give you a house and a car, and they say you live here now. Figure out how to drive on these streets, figure out how to communicate with people. When you go to the grocery store, I had lists of words in translation, for cereal and oatmeal and chicken, and what those words were in Polish, so I could go to the store and try to ask someone where they were. I also went to the countries that were the hardest languages to learn. I was in the Netherlands, Dutch is impossible. You have to be adaptable and just kind of go with the flow and show up. You're at practice and there's a language barrier between you and your coach and your teammates, and so you have to figure out how to communicate on the court. Off the court is one thing, just living, but on the court, how do I tell someone that a screen is coming left if he doesn't speak English that well? You're there for 10 months at a time, and you have a choice to either embrace it and understand that you have an incredible opportunity to live in a foreign place and meet new people. And I think that, to my credit, I did a good job. I really liked being in those places and living the culture to the best of my ability. I remember the exact moment I knew that I was gonna try to make the Olympics for 3x3, and that was when I was playing in Poland and I saw the announcement that the International Olympic Committee had accepted 3x3 as an Olympic sport. And I said to myself that, once I'm done with this season in Poland, that's what I'm gonna be doing. 3x3 is kind of like a tennis model, so you have your team and you play in different weekend-long tournaments, and you accumulate points by playing in those tournaments. If you win or you get second, you move on to bigger tournaments. So on the first day, you'll play, there's the 2-day tournaments. The first day you'll play around a pool play. You have to finish top 2 in your pool, and from there you'll play the second day, 3 games to get to the championship, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. The game itself is a lot different. It's not the 3-on-3 that a lot of people are used to playing. It's 12-second shot clock, 10-minute games, first to 21. You don't check the ball up after made baskets. It's continuous play. It's 2s and 1s, so mathematically it's a little different than having 3s and 2s, like 5-on-5 basketball. It's exciting. It's it's like a 10-minute sprint. I feel a lot of times more tired than I ever felt after a 5-on-5 game. And I can only speak from a player's perspective, but from what people who've watched it for the first time have told me, it's different, exciting, and it's very watchable. It's especially for short attention spans. It's 10-minute games versus 21. You can watch a bunch of games in a day. In the lead up to the Olympics next year, the only thing that I can do is be the best player that I can possibly be, perform at a high level, and play together, with my teammates. We want to continue climbing the ranks of 3x3 world. We've got some teams that are really hard to knock off because they've been playing a lot longer than us, but we're figuring it out, doing our best to be as good as we can individually, and that will translate to the team game. And it's just about, what it's always been about with sports. It's about staying healthy, it's about staying sharp, it's about working really hard. So those things, are always the same, they'll always be the same. And for us, it's just about, not watching the clock, but living in the moment, staying engaged in every tournament, not looking ahead. In the 3x3 tournament, anyone can beat anyone. And that's the same for the big picture. I can't look towards next year or to even the next tournament next weekend. We have to figure out how to win the game at hand.